listening to the Iterators of the Imperium.
Hi, I'm MEZ, and I'm here with my co-host Ryan, and you're listening to Season 2 of the Iterators of the Imperium podcast, the podcast in which Ryan is the expert on Warhammer 40k, and I'm the noob trying to learn about the Warhammer universe. But yeah, let's get into it, Ryan. So what is today's topic?
Alright, last episode of the season, last topic to cover. I'm sure that you know exactly who it is. Do you even want to bother with a quote, or do you want to just tell me who it is?
No, just give us the quote and just give a brief presentation of who it is, because we have covered pretty much everything. And last time was I guess out of two where I got it right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the quote today is, "Blood for the Blood God, skills for the throne of Khorne."
Yes.
Yes, this Khorne, obviously.
Yeah.
Today we are discussing Khorne, the Blood God, the god of anger, violence, and hate.
Hey,
He's
lovely.
a truly delightful guy, honestly. Truly delightful guy.
I'm sure he is.
Honestly, the god himself is a pretty chill dude outside all the murder. Mainly because he doesn't care about anything else.
Do you feel yourself right?
Well, everyone else is I do 40,000 evil things at the exact same time. Khorne's just war. You're gonna do it anyway. I'm just gonna hang around and enjoy it. You know?
Fair.
All there is in 40k is various forms of warfare, and Khorne is just sitting there, painting his fingers good.
Mr. Birds.
And that's
excellent.
Yeah, that's it. Whereas all the rest of them are I'm gonna ravage you with plagues while you fight wars that you're gonna fight anyway. Or, your bosses are gonna be murdering each other so that they can try to become a different kind of boss before they eventually die in the same war. And so on and so forth. Khorne's just no, just the war part, please. As far as the Chaos Gods go, he's honestly quite a chill one.
That I guess, but that just doesn't fit together, when you say it like that. It doesn't sound right, but...
You know what? It's kind of like how Nurgle's the friendliest of the Chaos Gods. It's true, it doesn't really mean much. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, let's not talk about Nurgle. I'm
we're not going back to
now.
Never again. So, we're talking about Khorne today. His titles include the Lord of Rage, the Taker of Skulls, the Lord of Battle, and the Master of the Brazen Throne. Which are all quite cool titles. They're not quite as ridiculous as some of the other ones. I like how, Slaaneash's ones are all, about eating people's souls and stuff. Tzeentch's ones are all really complicated. Nurgle's ones are he's just, a friendly relative. And Khorne's ones are actually just warrior titles. Which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his sacred number is 8, just so you know.
Okay.
And his greater demon is the Bloodthirster. And we have mentioned Bloodthirsters before.
Yes.
We have talked about them briefly. Do you remember when we mentioned a Bloodthirster in the past?
I'm not too sure. I want to say something with the heresy, but that's probably wrong.
No, you're right. The heresy and your boy Sanguinius.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. I wasn't completely off then.
No. So during the siege of Terra, a particular Bloodthirster is summoned in and ends up battling with Sanguinius, and that is the reason people kind of question or not whether why Sanguinius was able to be defeated by Horus so easily. Some people are oh, well, he didn't want to kill him. Sanguinius didn't want to kill Horus, but Horus wanted to kill Sanguinius.
Yeah.
So they were fighting in different ways. Be well, yeah, that could be it. Or you've got Horus had the powers of the Chaos Gods backing him up.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, that also would kind of skew the scales a bit. But a large part of it is this a really obvious thing that no one can argue is that shortly before the battle, outside the walls of the Imperial Palace, or not outside the walls of Imperium, but on Terra, basically, Sanguinius got into a battle with a particular incredibly powerful bloodthirster of Khorne, and the bloodthirster fucked him up. So he went into the battle with Horus already injured.
Yeah.
And tired, for that matter. So that's like another side of that situation that people thought. So there's a few different arguments go on there. I like to think that Sanguinius just didn't want to kill Horus. I like to think that if he wanted to, he would have.
I mean, being fatigued already makes you a bit, weaker in itself. But then again, there's a big difference if you're hitting to kill or if you're pulling your punches. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. Are you fighting to defend yourself from your brother, or are you fighting to murder your enemy? And that was the two sides they were each on, so...
Oh, God. Oh, Ryan, getting through some bad images in my head. I'm sorry, just a quick sidebar. I recently saw, an MMA match or something like that with a guy who hit another guy so hard that I think he just got disabled, the other guy. And he has never fought that's like an animal again. Like, he always pulls his punches now.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but remove that when you said that, so I'm sorry. Back to the topic.
Yeah. Back to the topic at hand. So, Khorne's power, in essence, comes from violence, right?
Yeah.
That's his purview. But it's more down to, honor and pride in martial combat. But in reality, Khorne's followers, his actual, really devoted followers, know that Khorne cares not where the blood flows from, simply that it flows. So, there's a kind of weird thing to it. So, the idea is supposed to be that Khorne, it's only worship for him when you're fighting honorably and you're proud of it and stuff like that. But in reality, it doesn't really matter as long as you're killing things for Khorne.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, every life that is taken in the name of Khorne adds a skull to his throne.
That's a big throne.
It's a real big throne. And it is said that he came into existence fully. So, it's, Slaaneish's first breath thing where they ate all the Eldar.
Yeah.
Similar thing. It's said that Khorne's first breath took place during our medieval age, and that's why that age is just nothing but warfare.
Oh, God,
because
sacrifices.
Khorne came into existence. Well, yeah, it's kind of because Khorne was suddenly whispering in the ear of every general, just go murder people, it'll be fine.
Do it. Do it.
Every Chaos God basically, eventually filters down to just Darth Sidious going, do it. Just to different things. That's honestly all they come down to at the end of the day. And as you'd imagine with Khorne, simple warfare is like the golden rule, right? Straight up, one of you gets a sword, you fight each other with the swords. No fucking around, no extra shit, fight. Simple, right? So, underhanded or excessive kind of things within that, Khorne sees them as just needless waste, and he finds it kind of insulting that people would do that. So, Khorne obviously hates magic, because you're pissing about, just stab him, right?
Yeah.
So you'd think Khorne probably hates Tzeentch the most out of all the other Chaos Gods.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's Slaanesh that they hate the most. He sees that Slaanesh and Slaanesh's followers, he sees their, mindless self-indulgence as, an insult more than anything else. He, takes it personally.
Yeah.
Which I love.
And I took that personally.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I guess it's because Tzeentch's followers using magic, at least they are still just killing things, whereas Slaanesh's stuff is a lot of, torture and stuff like that, which is, in essence, just avoiding killing people. It's just delaying it.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where that comes from, the idea that Khorne would hate Slaanesh more. So, yeah, the followers of Slaanesh and Khorne are usually at each other's throats. Although, to be fair, that is true of basically everyone in 40k. Never mind Chaos God factions.
Yeah, I was just about to say, isn't that really the essence of Warhammer in itself?
Yeah, kind of is, yeah. Yeah.
It's like
So,
I've mentioned it a couple of times now, Ryan. Warhammer is just tales of survival and despair.
it really is, you're right. We need that as a game. Warhammer, Tales of Survival. And it's just everyone dying, but like some people it lasts longer.
Yeah.
So to be a worshipper of Khorne, you must be a warrior, right? It's impossible to worship Khorne without being a warrior. Fact, right?
Yeah.
But it's regardless of the or of the order of those things. So you can be a warrior like a space marine and then turn to worship Khorne, or you can, become a worshipper of Khorne and just suddenly become a warrior or some sort. Not a very good one, mind you, but you'll want to kill things and you'll try. So, yeah, that's basically how that goes.
Yeah.
There are no temples to Khorne, right? No one's building a shrine to worship Khorne. Because his worship is not prayer, it is bloodshed. That is how you utter a prayer to Khorne. You draw someone else's blood out of them. One way or another.
Yeah, and then automatically he just goes,
yeah.
Ah, yes, excellent.
That's exactly it. That in itself is a prayer to Khorne.
God damn.
So the battlefield is his place of worship, right?
Yeah.
If you actually were to go build a temple, like, to worship Khorne, when you could have been fighting instead, Khorne would probably just be pissed off with you rather than pleased. Which I find quite funny. And apparently if you go one day without completing an act of worship to Khorne, you will evoke his displeasure. I don't know what he's going to do to you, but he's not going to be happy.
I don't know what it's going to do to you, but it's going to be terrible.
Just know I am severely displeased.
Yeah.
Just send the bloodthirster to hand you a strongly written letter.
Oh, God.
It's your first warning, man.
3 strikes and you're out. Literally.
3 strikes and the bloodthirster comes back. Without the no. Alright. Any guesses what form the realm of Khorne takes?
Something horrific.
So, think, right? Nurgle is all about, like, life and rebirth and stuff. So he has a garden, right? It's kind of mega, it's kind of swampy, but it's a garden.
Yeah.
Tzeentch is all ever-changing schemes, so his is a maze.
Maybe a battlefield.
Slaanesh, well, you're not far off of it.
A war zone. No, that's the same thing. I'm just listing like a AAA shooter games now.
You are, yeah.
Heroes and generals.
It is a fortress.
Okay.
For the record, right, the actual realm itself is it's considered to be the fortress is the realm of Khorne, but it is surrounded by like a war-torn battlefield. So I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm half right. I would say the glass is half full.
I would say you were correct. I would say the question was vague.
I mean, you could say the fortress is a battlefield, right?
I don't think anyone's going to try and fight in Khorne's house, because I feel like all that would happen is Khorne would put into that fight very quickly.
Well, the people cleaning up in that house, right, they could say this looks like a war zone because it's not cleaned up, okay? Your place looks like a war zone, okay?
Imagine insulting Khorne like that in his own house.
Yeah.
Khorne is very house proud, I'll have you know.
Okay.
Actually, I have no idea. He may be, I don't know. Probably not, to be honest. So, outside Khorne's fortress are a ring of volcanoes surrounded by rivers of boiling blood. It's like the world's worst water park.
What?
Well, that's what I thought of when I was reading my notes.
For God's sakes, right? Yeah.
So, at the base of the volcanoes are Khorne's forges, which endlessly manufacture demon engines. right? And nearby are the blood pits, from which new demons of Khorne spawn.
Lovely.
Yeah. At the center of the realm, so at the center of the fortress thing, is the brass citadel, where Khorne's throne sits. Right?
The skull throne.
Yep, he sits upon a mountain of skulls of those killed in his name.
Hmm.
So the room where his throne is, it's lit by like a dark fire, right? Like a campfire type fire in the middle of the room, like a brazier.
Mm-hmm.
But the fire is like dark fire. It's not like the right color.
Okay.
And it constantly burns the souls of cowards who fled combat.
Lovely.
I know, so don't do that, I guess.
No, it acts like a TV as well.
I'd
Entertainment for
imagine
him.
so, yeah.
Entertainment for him, yeah.
In the fortress, right, actually within the citadel itself, there are forges, right?
Yep.
More of Khorne's forges, but these ones are forever manned by the warriors that died in their sleep, because Khorne shames them forever because they didn't die in combat.
What?
Yeah, if you're a warrior, which is great, and you're worshipping Khorne and all that, but you don't die in combat, fuck you. You're gonna be doing manual labor forever.
Yo, Khorne is that type, like, sleep is for the weak. That kind of type.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So, the lands beyond the citadel are littered with the bones of fallen warriors, right?
Mhm.
And amongst that kind of war-torn wasteland, there is a massive split in the ground, like a big massive crevasse in the ground, which is miles wide. It is said Khorne once flew into such a rage that he drew his sword and plunged it into the land, creating that fissure. Apparently, his sword is like an actual object that he could give to his followers. Like, he could just give it to someone that he thought deserved it. And the sword apparently can, like, destroy a planet in one swing.
What?
Yeah.
How big
God
is the
sword,
sword?
man. Well, I imagine it's fucking huge.
I mean, that doesn't even make sense. Like, who would be able to wield that sword? Nobody.
Probably no
it's like
one.
saying, it's like saying, yeah, you can use my iPhone if I deem you worthy, but you can't unlock it because you don't have my face for Face ID. That's a bad example, but you know what I mean. Like, nobody could use it.
I get what you mean, yeah. Yeah.
I
Well, you
could
could
give
give
it
it to,
to
like-
you.
You could give it to, like, an Emperor-class Titan, but, like, I'm pretty sure they could destroy a planet on their own if they want to anyway.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't need that shit. They don't care.
Nah, I don't think they really would want it. I don't know how many Titans are under Khorne's control either. There will be some. There are
Yeah.
Chaos Titans.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into that. That's a good point. I
I need
wonder
that
if maybe
sword.
that's what it's for.
I need that sword when we play Warhammer Darktide, by the way.
Yeah.
Just
I've been
cut the
playing that
game.
bit.
Yeah.
My new computer can finally play that game.
Oh.
And then I sacked it and just started playing Monster Hunter World Rise.
I'm sad, right? I bought the game because I wanted to play with you, and we haven't played since. We haven't even played.
Well, to be fair, I couldn't play because my computer was
I
garbage.
know. We were going to be streaming that game for the lovely viewers as well.
We were. We just haven't got around to it yet. We're going to have to.
Yeah.
We've got so many Warhammer games that we need to play.
Oh, gosh.
I know. We need to play Space Hulk as well. Apparently that one's fun.
Okay.
Alright. Back to the topic at hand. The followers of Khorne. Right? So, first things first. The Bloodthirster. The greater demon of Khorne. Right. Do you have any idea what a Bloodthirster looks like?
Why do I feel like a skeleton or some shit? I don't know.
Nah, you went the wrong way with it, my man.
So a beefy
A
dude.
Bloodthirster. A Bloodthirster basically looks like the Christian idea of the devil.
What
So,
the
like,
hell?
Yeah, you see that picture I just said, of a Bloodthirster. They're pretty crazy. And it's like gigantic red monster with goat hooves, big bat wings, horns, claws, and carrying various assortments of hell-forged weapons, like swords and stuff, and they wear brass armor, usually decorated with skulls.
Lovely, because, you know...
It kind of looks like the Balrog from Lord of the Rings.
Huh. I mean, I wasn't totally wrong in terms of they don't have any skin, or at least it looks like the Attack on Titan, the Colossal Titan? It looks like that.
It's just like flesh up there, or just like the flesh below the skin.
Yeah, so I took
like
it a step deeper into like the skeleton, but I just took it too
I'm
far.
not sure they have skeletons.
Wait, what? How
I
would they move?
don't think they need one. It's a demon.
What?
Apparently they feel bloodlust beyond mortal comprehension.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. There are a load of bloodthirsters, right? There's a ton of these fuckers. But they're organized into 8 hosts, because 8 is Khorne's number.
Yep.
And the 8th is the weakest, and the 1st is the strongest. And of the 1st, there are only 8 bloodthirsters, and they are the strongest of the strongest, right?
Yeah.
So if he sends one of those guys after you, you're probably gonna die.
Lovely.
Fair?
Well, not, but you know.
Yeah. Alright, so the next one we have is the common demons of Khorne, the Bloodletters.
Hey,
So,
oh god.
These again look like the kind of stereotypical Christian explanation of a demon. It's like a little red dude that for some reason has horns and a weirdly long tongue and face
glowing
pipes
eyes
and stuff.
And glowing
eyes, can throw fire, stuff like that. Webbed feet for some reason, claws and stuff. Like, they're kind of just a very typical explanation of anything, or what a demon would be explained as by any random human that knew nothing about 40k.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that's kind of that. Apparently these dudes are immensely strong, and when they march into war, they do it with supernatural precision and strategy. But once they get into combat, it basically just falls to carnage, because they all try to outdo each other.
Okay.
So all strategy just goes clean out the window.
Okay.
Yeah, they're fun guys.
No, they don't look like fun guys, right? I'm sorry.
No, they're fun guys.
Okay, if you say so.
Alright, next is the Beast of Khorne, the Flesh Hound.
Oh god, he rides that into battle.
Yeah, these are the mounts. No, wait, no. Yes, no. No, these are not the mounts, sorry. These are just, like, monsters they use to fight.
Okay.
So the Flesh Hounds are, honestly, it's like a little quadrupedal dinosaur. So it's got, like, armored scales on it, claws and big-ass teeth. And they just kind of act like hunting dogs. They just hunt down enemies of Khorne and eat them.
Yeah.
That's it. That's kind of all they are. They're just it's like an animal rather than like a sentient creature that's like taking orders. It's like a trained wild animal instead, kind of thing.
A well-trained dog.
Basically, yeah, except it's like much bigger and tougher and shit.
Oh yeah, of course.
And a demon.
Yeah. By the way, I retract my statement. Yeah.
And they just eat the enemies of Khorne. Simple as.
Yeah. I retract my statement, by the way. I don't think anybody would ride that into battle, because the spikes on its back, it looks uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. You're gonna get yourself a new a-hole. You know?
See, the thing is, right, that would be a good one for Slanesh dudes, because they'd enjoy that.
Oh, I mean,
they like pain. It's like their whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The next one is the Steed of Khorne. So this is what they ride into battle. It's called the Juggernaut.
Yeah.
Right. It's basically like a partially mechanical demon bull, for lack of a better explanation. And they are made of living metal, so the same stuff Necrons are made of, and boiling blood. And they're said to be made of the rawest moments of battle when only overwhelming force prevails.
Yeah. Wait, Ryan, can I correct you on something?
Yes.
You said it looked like a bull. I would argue that it looks like a freaking black rhino.
Possibly a rhino, yes.
Because it has like a sharp horn.
Yeah, but it has hooves. which is why I went for bull.
Oh, it actually also have like a nose ring. It looks like some bulls, you know.
Oh yeah, it does have a nose ring. Yeah, that's a fair point. So yeah,
Huh.
I think the blade on its head in that particular picture is more of a affectation of like the armor it appears to be wearing.
Yeah. It's just aesthetics. Come on.
Yeah, I think it's just like, how can we make this angry demon bull worse? Bolt a knife to its face.
Yeah, you know, instead of like two horns like a bull, it's just like one big ass one in the middle.
Yeah, I think that was the idea.
And actually a backup on the top of it, so, you know, just a backup.
Yeah. Just in case it doesn't stab someone quite enough. I feel like it's the kind of thing that would just stampede over the enemies rather than stabbing them with a horn. I think the horn is basically just aesthetic at that point.
Yeah, I think it's just visuals, man. It looks cool.
Yeah. Alright. Now, last thing to talk about with this, we have the Space Marines that are, you know, Chaos Marines under Khorne. Do you know which legion these are?
No.
They are the World Eaters of Angron.
Ah. Oh, God.
Yeah. So, the World Eaters and their Primarch Angron have now fallen to Khorne. Angron is now the Demon Primarch of Khorne, and he looks fucking nuts. And to be honest with you, right, he was always an angry dude, so, like, it makes sense that he ends up with Khorne.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the World Eaters have what are called Butcher's Nails fitted in their skulls. A Butcher's Nail is a piece of technology. It's like ancient lost technology that no one really knows how to make anymore other than these guys. And what it is they implant it into your skull and it fucks with your brain so that unless you are enraged and performing violent acts, you are in complete and utter agony beyond belief. So they just all have to be angry and violent all the time.
There's some fun at parties. No.
Oh, they are the party.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So once like the whole Horus Heresy thing started up, they were just like, well, our current leader doesn't really like how angry and violent we are. So we're just gonna go find someone that'll be like, good boy, whenever we're violent and angry. And they found Khorne. And now they just go around murdering stuff for Khorne.
Amazing, or something.
Something like that. Words to that effect, I guess.
Yeah.
So, before we get to like the last section, which is like the notable characters, right? There's an extra thing with Khorne I actually want to go over. Because if we could have done this with the rest of them, we might actually backtrack to the other Chaos Gods a little bit here. But there's a thing, right? So there is gifts that the Chaos Gods give to their followers. And I found a list of them, and some of them are pretty cool, some of them are pretty fun. But this is the case for all of the Chaos Gods, and I kind of forgot about this section in the others. So we might backtrack a little bit here, because we've got a little bit extra time in this episode, but we'll look at Khorne's ones just now, so you got an idea. Right?
Yeah.
So some of them are like weapons, some of them are like physical augmentations and stuff like that. So you have like the Axe of Khorne, which is a big-ass demonic axe imbued with the power of bloodlust.
Okay.
Well, it's imbued with the power and bloodlust of Khorne. So it basically just makes whoever is like holding it just incredible at killing stuff and destroying stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff like that. You've also got like the Berserker Glaive, which is a very similar concept.
You know, the standard stuff. What's right? It sounds OP. The standard stuff. Yes, okay.
Yeah. But then the stuff like Praise of Khorne. So Khorne just praises one of his followers, and apparently it just increases the chances that the champion's armor deflects hits from him.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, pretty standard. Or Khorne might gift one of his followers with one of the Juggernauts to use as a steed.
Oh, that's a good gift, actually.
Yeah. Or there's the Talisman of Burning Blood, which allows the bearer to control his rage for slightly longer than usual.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I suppose the idea would be it can make you even angrier for a while. But, yeah, there's a lot of shit like that. I think these are more based, rather than on lore, I think they're more based on, like, game-related stuff, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's more the purpose of the gifts in particular. But
yeah.
it's an interesting concept to kind of, I don't know, I guess look at the actual way that the Chaos Gods might show their favor to their underlings.
But yeah, I think you're right. It does sound like, a profitable way to make stuff that could be sold in like figurines and in-game, weapons for.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
But that's the whole genre in itself, It's a very profitable genre. So.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Games Workshop didn't start off as as a story company. They weren't like, when it started off, they were a mini making company. So they just made the models for the game, right?
Yeah.
And then down the line, because they were doing the whole Warhammer thing, there wasn't really much storyline behind it until like the 3rd edition of Warhammer Fantasy, which is when they started properly putting in actual lore and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it started to like take shape as an actual world.
Sure.
Until that point, they had basically just been a company making models so you could play the game, and that was it.
Huh.
So
okay.
It's all very much based around the game, not the story.
Yeah.
But to be fair, while that does show in some ways, which is kind of unfortunate, like, we all know Gilliman's not getting killed anytime soon because he has a model. If there's a model of a character, they're not going to die. It's kind of as simple as it goes.
Yeah.
But while that's something you kind of have to accept, at the same time, they've done a good job of telling a really good story without having it to be all tied to the game exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is good. Like, there's so much extra stuff, side stuff, that's not in any way related to the game, and probably never will be, that makes the storyline incredible. I think it really does a lot of credit to them that they've been able to do that. Let's move on. Notable followers of Khorne.
Yeah.
Alright. Do you know any? I'm just going to start asking you random questions like that. You know any? See if you can sell in the capital?
Not at the top of my head.
Good, I don't think we mentioned any, but weird if you did. Alright, first one we're going to go with. Skarbrand, right? Skarbrand's a fun dude. He's one of the most powerful bloodthirsters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, while this guy has done a lot of stuff, like he turned up during the whole rebirth of Gilliman thing, and Gilliman kicked his ass, stuff like that. He's done a lot of shit like that. But there's a really interesting story that's like just his story individually. So, Skarbrand, again, being one of the most powerful bloodthirsters, was able to like take down entire armies on his own and like go and ravage the lands of the other chaos gods and stuff like that. He was an absolute unit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Total monster in combat. And one day, Tzeentch goes, got a plan here. So he starts kind of manipulating Skarbrand to bring his rage even higher and higher and higher, until eventually his rage reached a point where it turned back on Khorne. So Skarbrand just, well, he basically got angry and all, like so unbelievably angry while he was fighting, that he basically turned to Khorne and was like, you're a fucking wuss, I'm gonna have you and I'm gonna become the new god.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, so he attacked Khorne. All he did was put like a little chink in his armor, and then Khorne grabbed him by the throat and strangled the life out of him, to the point that he has no, like, personality left or any, like, self left. All he has is, like, nothing but blind rage. That's all Scarbrand is now.
God.
And then Khorne carried him to the top of the citadel, raised him above his head to show everyone what he had done to him and what happens if you try to pick a fight
Yeah.
with Khorne and think
Yes.
you're big. And then he yeeted him through the warp.
What?
He just tossed him from the top of this thing right through the warp. For
What?
8 days and nights, Scarbrand just kept flying through the warp.
Oh, that sounds horrendous. That sounds
Yeah.
horrendous.
It just reminds me of Loki in in the Marvel films. I guess Thor 3 is like, I've been falling for 20 minutes.
For 8 days in the warp.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he basically just flew through the warp for 8 days and nights until he eventually hit something and made a gigantic crater. But the impact also burned his wings to hell. So Scarbrand's wings are just destroyed.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So he can't fly no more.
Nah, at least not very fucking well.
No, unless
Unless.
he turns to some magic shit. Ooh.
Nah, Corsons don't do magic, remember? They hate magic. Magic's
know.
for woofers.
But maybe he doesn't like corn.
No. He loves Khorne. Khorne's his dad.
Oh, well, you know.
He just thought he was better than him for a bit there. That's been thoroughly strangled out of him, though. It's fine.
So he doesn't hold a grudge anymore. Is that what you're telling me?
No. He doesn't have enough of a mind left to hold one. All he is anger now.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah. Interestingly, though, he serves Khorne better now than he did before, because now he's just a mindless creature of rage. Before he thought about things.
I mean, why doesn't his corners guys just get in a line and he can just strangle them one by one? Make productivity go up like by 50% or some shit. I don't know.
Once
guys,
in a while, you
round
might
up,
need
get in a
one
line.
that can think.
No, it's fine.
But-
It's fine. I can do
But,
one thinking.
alright,
It's fine.
what we do here is everyone line up biggest to smallest. I'll strangle the biggest guy, and then you all strangle the one smaller than you.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
That's efficiency.
That's efficiency, right? I like that, Ryan.
At some point, though, you're gonna have the weakest bloodthirster strangling the strongest bloodletter, and I think you would just tear the head off of a bloodletter if you tried that. Being that the height difference alone is like 4 feet.
Oh, God. There's gotta be some whoopsies, okay?
Yeah, look, there's a reasonable margin of error here. We're willing to accept like a 10% loss of life.
Oh,
That's
God.
acceptable range.
That's acceptable for a 50% increase in productivity. We sound like a business now, right?
I think the problem is, that Khorne would probably strangle the life out of the first one till he became nothing but rage, and then he wouldn't stop strangling the next one at that stage, and so on and so forth. So they'd all just strangle each other to death like a domino effect.
Oh, well, I mean, Khorne can always just start from the beginning again. It's fine.
Yeah, I feel like this is the kind of thing Zinch would trick him into doing, though. I'm telling you, man, it's a great plan. Try it. Be fun, though. I feel like we should look into this.
Yeah, we should write somebody about this idea.
Oh yeah.
Have it animated or some shit.
Oh hell yeah, that'd be great. All right, the next bloodlet we're talking about is Kabanda, right?
Uh-huh.
Kabanda is one of the strongest of Khorne's bloodthirsters, much like Scarbrand. He's in that first host as well. I think he's
Yes.
stronger than Scarbrand, though, technically. I don't know for sure. Right? We're not going into his full story, because there's a big storyline with this guy. But, interesting tidbit of information, Kabanda is the bloodthirster that fought Sanguinius during the siege.
Oh, I hate that guy.
Yeah, he's a dick. He's the one that got fucking snapped over Sanguinius' knee. Take that, you prick.
Nobody messes with my boy Sanguinius, okay?
Except Taurus.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
he didn't even kill him right. The Emperor had the right idea. You gotta obliterate the soul of a Primarch. No, Horus just yeeted Sanguinius into the warp, basically. You know,
Yeah.
there's a funny bit in one of the Magnus books. I think it's Morningstar, or it might be Magnus the Red. That's actually called, and it's about Morningstar. Could go either way. Anyway, in this book, there's a really big moment where Magnus basically almost dies trying to save a ship that's about to crash into the ground, and Perturabo carries him out of the crater afterwards and back to their fortress so he can be healed. And once he recovers, he goes to see Perturabo, and they're talking. And Perturabo's like, "Brother, I've always theorized that it would take something incredible to kill one of us. I didn't think you'd take that as a challenge." And it occurs to me now that I feel like that was probably more dangerous than just fighting Horus, and that somehow did it.
Yeah.
So, in theory, I think Magnus would have murdered Horus. That's the point I was trying to get. I feel like it was just unlucky that it was Sanguinius that got to him first. I feel like any of the other Primarchs would have fucked up his day. Sanguinius was too nice for his own good, I think.
He was. I mean, he wasn't confirmed, completely out and dead, right?
No, Sanguinius is dead.
Oh, he is dead. That's confirmed?
Yeah, he's actually dead.
Oh, god dang it.
Or, he died.
Yeah,
Horus
but
actually killed him.
That has happened a couple of times before, Ryan, and sometimes when you say people are dead, you, an episode or two later say they're not completely out.
Okay, yeah, so Sanguinius' body is dead, fact.
Yeah.
But his spirit just went into the warp, like they all do when someone dies. So, he's kicking about somewhere.
Yeah, all we need is just a twist, where he can, get that into a physical body or a mech suit. I don't know, whatever, right? Make a comeback with some mechanical wings.
Need Sanguinius to possess someone.
Yes.
I reckon Celestine's gonna become the host to Sanguinius.
That would be overpowered, split personality.
Just get a moment of head milling in her body. He's like, oh, the body's a lot smaller than the one I'm used to, but I still have my wings, so that's fun.
Saint Sanguinius. Let's go.
I feel like that in itself is heresy.
Yep.
Yeah. Alright. So, the last follower we're going to talk about is one of the coolest followers of Demon or any of the Chaos Lords, right? I would say he's cooler than most of the Demon Primarchs, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Khorne the Betrayer, right? Now, again, this guy has a huge storyline, which is really a deep dive in itself, so we're just giving you some brief stuff here. But he is the greatest champion of Khorne, second only to the Demon Primarch Angron, right? He was a World Eater's captain, so he actually was under Angron's command, and now he's Khorne's champion, this absolute unit, right? So, do you remember the whole Esteban thing where they nuked a planet with all the loyalists on it to clear all the traitor legions of anyone that hasn't turned yet?
Yeah.
So, there's a guy called Garviel Loken, who was one of Horus's dudes, who was one of his captains, who stayed loyal. He's the one that you see the storyline of Horus turning evil from. You see it from Loken's point of view. After the whole purging of the planet thing, there were still some people left alive, and they kept the fight going against the traitors, right? And the way it ended up was they basically ended up with a bunch of main named characters going in and killing all the leaders, who were also kind of main named characters. Ezekiel Abaddon went in and fought Saul Harvest. No, Eidolon fought Harvest, didn't he? Anyway, so they basically had a bunch of named characters that were evil fight a bunch of the named characters that were good and kill them off, so that the traitors were the only ones alive. And Khorne was impaled through the chest by Gavial Loken, and everyone just thought he died, and that was it. Interestingly, though, rumors of his death were greatly exaggerated.
Okay.
He also died during the Siege of Terra. His squad carried his dead body off the battlefield and back to their dropship when they were all like fleeing Terra after Horus died. And it turned out he was still alive, but they don't know if like he actually just wasn't quite dead yet, or if Khorne just like brought him back to life because they were like, he's a cool guy, I want him to keep going. So for all we know, Khorne brought this dude back to life to keep fighting.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, Ryan. This just brings me back to the fact that when people die in Warhammer, you can never count them out until it's like absolutely definitively effing confirmed, you know?
Unless the Emperor kills them, you really don't know for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically it. And Khorne has since dedicated his millennia-long life to unleashing bloodshed and carnage on anyone within reach.
Lovely.
Yeah, to such an extent that there is a mountain of skulls by Khorne's throne, all of which were put there by Khorne the Destroyer.
Nice.
Purely him alone has contributed a mountain of skulls to Khorne's throne.
Mount Corn Skull. Let's go.
That's a good name, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I had to say about Khorne.
Lovely
Ez,
stuff. Yeah.
It's the last episode of the season, alright? I want to know, what do you think?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've learned something about all the different factions of 40k?
Yes, I do, and I now regret it because I talked to my girlfriend about this. I spoke about some of the stuff and the topics we had about Warhammer during the seasons, right? Both 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And she's just like, yeah, I can't look at you the same way, you know? That kind of thing. She doesn't understand one thing, and she thinks, she thinks, yeah.
That is incredible. I love that. Big fan of that.
So, yeah, I've learned a thing or two.
I'm glad. Right. There are still some other factions, technically speaking, kind of minor ones and stuff that we could talk about. So, like, Sisters of Battle are a faction. They're not really a minor faction. They're kind of like a secondary rather than a minor faction, I guess.
Yeah.
Or the Custodes is another one. It's a small army, so there is only so much about them. They do have a good storyline behind them, much like Sisters of Battle have a good storyline behind them. And there is a lot you could talk about there. But they don't turn up enough, you know? So it's easy enough that we can come to them later. Gene Stealers are another one, because they kind of goes hand in hand with Iterators. And the Astra Militarum, which is just your everyday soldiers of the Imperium, which is another one that we can kind of cover at a later date. So, we're all set for Season 3 now, man.
Yes.
And
yes.
For all of you listening, it has been decided, Season 3 is the Primarchs. We're going to do episode by episode covering the storyline of the Primarchs. We haven't really decided what's, like, timeline we're covering yet. The idea is, from the moment they get thrown into the warp, and then, like, they're growing up and stuff, and then becoming a Primarch, like, by meeting the Emperor and getting their Legion and stuff.
Yeah.
Probably up till the end of the Heresy kind of thing. I think that'd be the kind of timeline we'd be looking at. But
yeah,
I think that'll go a long way towards filling out a lot of the kind of timeline for you as well. Because while you know the timeline of these things, there's a lot of the universe you don't know yet. And learning, like, each Primarch's whole world, what it's like, what it was like growing up there, stuff like that. You get a better idea of what the Primarch is like, because you're going to learn all the Primarchs individually now, and know them all properly. You'll get to learn a bit about the Legions and what they're all about, and you'll get to learn about what their homeworlds are like. So it fills in a bit of the universe, and kind of a bit more about the kind of the Legions and the Primarchs and stuff as well. It should be a good mix of different pieces of new information.
Yeah, just getting a better understanding of, you know, the Primarchs. I like it.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this. Now,
Yeah.
right. I want you to know, right? I've got a order that we're gonna cover them in, right? And it's a purposeful order. It's planned out, right? There's a reason for it. Now, I need you to guess for me who's first.
Oh man, it depends on what you have, decided is a priority. Is it people that I like? So perhaps Sanguinius, for example.
Perhaps.
That could be something, or is it just somebody who you think is essential for the main storyline? I don't know, chronologically in the time.
Oh, so maybe like Gilliman then, since he's the most prevalent one now.
Perhaps.
That's solid logic.
It depends really on what you have prioritized.
Yeah.
So honestly,
You're right.
I couldn't say it.
Do you want
I don't know.
do you want to know? Do you want a little sneak preview of who's first?
Hell no. I want that to be a surprise for both me and the listeners for season 3.
Hell yeah, Maze. Love that answer. But,
so stay tuned.
Yeah. You want to sign us off for the last time for season 2?
Sure thing. Also, just let me add here that we are working on visuals for season 3, so you can both watch the visuals. Like, Ryan sends me pictures sometimes to make it clear, or how demons look, for example, in this episode, right? His followers. So yes, we will have visuals where we can sit in the studio and you guys can actually see what he sends to me. We can put it up on the screen. Also, Ryan informed me that that's going to be able to be previewed in Spotify as well. So
yes, Spotify has a video podcast now.
Yes, I'm looking very much forward to that. So thank you guys for listening to the last episode of season 2, and Ryan and I will look very much forward to iterate in season 3, and we will see you there. Take care and peace.
Bye.